Hey family and friends, it's Becky here. I'm coming back now to give you some information on embarkation days. I apologize in the delay for getting this out to you. I was trying to get the right time, the right spot to be able to record this video for you guys, but I figured there's no time like the best. It's more important that I get this information to you and no more delay. So we have 138 days as a countdown before we are going to be sailing set on our cruise. So remember last time we talked a little bit about what documents we'll need and some of those things coming up, as well as this one is going to be focused mainly on embarkation. And even though that will be when your documents are going to be important for you to have, we're not going to go dive deep into the documents today, okay? We're going to talk about more of all the stuff of what your first day is going to look like as we reach the terminal and what to expect at the terminal, as well as what the whole embarkation day looks like. Now, I know that I have a lot of first-time cruisers, so the one thing I do want to let you know is that all the feelings are all acceptable. If you are excited and you are jumping up and down for joy, looking forward to it, that's acceptable. If you are nervous, you don't know what to expect, you're one of those people that have to do all the type of research before you even do anything. You've got to look at data analysis and the risk assessments and all that stuff, and that's part your fun to travel, or maybe that's part of your anxiety of the travel. Don't worry, I understand your brain, but that's why you've got me here, okay? And anything that I don't ever touch, information on these videos, always ask. There's never anything that you're gonna ask that's gonna be an embarrassment or be afraid to ask, okay? I'm on your side, we're on a team together. I actually will be on this cruise as well. So at any point in time, if you have any trouble, you can always come and look for me, and I'll be able to help you out no matter what. All right, so here's where I want you all to take a collective deep breath and let it out, because we're about to go down some information. If you're a note taker, feel free to get out a piece of paper, take notes. I'm a hand talker. If that's distracting to you, I am sorry. I will learn to sit on my hands one day. But here we go. If you're a note taker, feel free to, these are going to be our embarkation day tips. A lot of this stuff, if you've traveled before and you know some of these things are just not a jive for you, if it's not a jam, if this is not how you travel, you're going to know yourself best. Now, traveling with cruises can be a little bit different than when you're going through flights, going through TSA and going through all that. There's going to be some similarities and there's going to be some differences. So there's a lot of things that are a little bit more laid back, like when we're talking the weight of your luggage, but at the same time, we will be talking about that and what all that looks like. So embarkation day, let's talk about it.
All right, when we're considering of how are we going to get to the cruise terminal, you'll definitely want to look at the different options that are available. So on some occasions, what we have done is we've just Ubered from our home down to the cruise port, and that way we wouldn't have to worry about, parking our vehicle down there for the week of the cruise. Sometimes if you're going to be staying at a hotel in Galveston, they'll allow you to keep your vehicle on site. But a lot of times I've also just had somebody, since we're local, we've always, also found somebody to go and drop us off the day of, and then also pick us up on the day, that we come back. All right, so one of the things that we are also going to talk about here right now is parking. So some of you may want to have the different options of parking and actually park there on site. There's a whole bunch of different companies that you can choose from. You can pick from, honestly, you could just Google and go through the different parking vendors that are out there on site. We've used several vendors. I will have a coupon code for one of the vendors that we have used in the past, and I'll get that out to y'all within this email as well. It's a nice little coupon code, maybe for about $5-10 off, but every bit counts. And when we're also speaking about parking, what I would recommend is that everybody in your whole party drive up through the terminal. The Jubilee is going to be on Terminal 25. And I recommend everybody driving up, drop off all your luggage and your entire party. And just whoever picked the short straw to then be able to drive to the parking lot, park the vehicle, and either walk back or come back via the shuttle. I know our very first time that we cruised, we all went to the parking lot. We all went with our luggage. So then we had to put all of our luggage into the shuttle. Then all of us piled into the shuttle. And you know what? That's just not necessary. Make it easier on yourself. It's a vacation. Let's have fun with it. Let's not make things harder than it has to be. So yep, drop off all the rest of your party, and you can do rock paper scissors, pick straws. Whoever's going to be the one to have to go down and park, and then just ride the shuttle back. It's not that bad. So one thing you also want to consider when you're traveling the morning of to the port, you want to take into account not just drive time, but especially if you're going to be coming up 45, you'll want to take into account any construction that may be happening that weekend and to allow extra time for any accidents. So now accidents, construction, those are all things that are out of your control. So if you want to leave a little bit earlier in the morning, take your time, maybe go grab breakfast out in Galveston, you make that morning whatever it is that you want it to look like. So I know that I don't like the traffic. I don't like, what is it? Any unexpected surprises. So I always leave with plenty of time, and I get into Galveston early. But we also don't stress it. It's gonna be fine. Just make sure, regardless of whatever your boarding time is, just be in the building by 2 p.m. and you'll be fine. Okay? If you lose your boarding pass, it'll be fine. There at the port, they can also, at the terminal, they can reprint it for you. So don't get overwhelmed. All right, so speaking of boarding pass, what you want to do is print your boarding pass before you come. You'll also receive the documents for your luggage tags. Now, these documents do not have to be in color, but I would recommend doing your luggage tags in color. Sometimes I've been able to print it, and sometimes it's been cheaper for me to just send it to Office Depot and just have them print it whenever I've run out of ink. The reason it's an added bonus to print the luggage tags in color is because based on the deck that your cabin's going to be located on, that's the colors that are also represented on there. So again, if all you have is black and white, don't worry about it. Just sit there and highlight your deck and cabin number, and that way it's just easier for the porters to be able to see. Now, going back to when you get to the terminal that you're dropping off your luggage, you do have the opportunity to check luggage, and you do have the opportunity to carry some on. You'll see both things. You'll see where there's plenty of people that just take a backpack on and they just carry that as their carry-on. You'll see plenty of people that bring all their suitcases on themselves. I'm going to discourage you from schlepping through the whole terminal with your luggage. The reason being is because it's a long ways that you're going to be walking just to get up into the ship. Your cabins will not be ready until about 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere in between there, maybe 1 o'clock, but definitely by between 1:30 and 2 o'clock is when your cabins will be ready. And the last thing you want is to be shoveling, and going through all your food lines and stuff with your big luggage. Again, you do have that option, but you definitely don't have to. You can go ahead and check your luggage in there with the porters. There's no check-in system. All you do is you see the guys and ladies with the Hawaiian shirts outside there. You hand them your luggage. They put them on a cart. Give them about $2 in tip for each luggage that you have, and then they'll take them off. That's it. You don't have to worry about it until they will then deliver them to your cabin later that evening. Now, this is very important. What does not go in your carry-on? What does not go in your carry-on is going to be your boarding documents. Again, that's going to be your boarding pass, your passport, and your passport, card, or your birth certificate and ID. So please, please underline this, highlight this. Do not put your boarding pass and do not put your boarding documents in your checked luggage. Make sure those always stay with you. So this is where I recommended to make copies of them. If you want to leave copies of them and place them into your checked luggage, that's fine. But try to keep the originals with you. As well as here are some of the things, the do's and don'ts of your boarding pass. Again, does not have to be printed in color, but do not print it front and back. Okay, so you want to have, if you put like your terms and conditions on the back, that's fine. But if it's you and your spouse, don't print them front and back because each individual person will have to carry their own boarding pass. And for those of you that have littles, I would encourage you to let your little hold their boarding pass, because at the end of the day, if it gets lost, it's going to be something that we can get reprinted there in the terminal. Now, I completely understand passports, birth certificates, maybe not letting the littles hang on to those, but if you, it's something where they can start learning some responsibility, and it's also not a big, it's not a big thing if they lose them or if it gets torn or they drop it into a puddle or something. We can get those reprinted, and it makes them feel big, and that way you can start teaching them some responsibility. I mean, heck, even if you have a 16-year-old or maybe your husband, you haven't let them hold their own boarding pass previously, that's a good time. You can do it. And if your husband ends up losing it, that's okay. We'll reprint his too. We'll just make a little fun of him, But that's okay. If you need to have the boarding pass back, that's fine. We understand. We can hand the passport back to the responsible party. Hey, I've seen it all come through my table, so it's all okay. One of the other things that you'll want to make sure is sometimes when the boarding pass is printed, sometimes your barcode will smudge a little bit. Again, if you can't tell if it's smudged or not, don't sweat it. Again, if we can't scan it, we'll reprint it. So again, that's just one of the things that if you wanted to, just make sure there's not no smudges on it, fine. And if there is and we can't scan it when you get there, no problem. We'll just have it reprinted. Again, color, black and white on the boarding pass, doesn't matter. Luggage tags, it's only a suggestion and recommended if you print those in color. And let's see here. What else do I have here? Once again, I'm going to reemphasize this. Do not pack your passport, boarding pass. Do not pack those, not your boarding pass, your birth certificates and your passports in your luggage, okay? We've seen many people that by the time we try to go find their luggage, the porters have already taken it and loaded it in the ship. So it's a little bit harder. Sometimes we've been able to get some people on the ship and sometimes we haven't been able to. So how sad would it be if your luggage gets to go on vacation and you don't? So once again, no boarding pass or no passports, no boarding documents, anything that you need for boarding, keep it in your carry-on. And on that note, let's also talk about your medications. Any medications that you need to have for either later in the day or for that evening, go ahead and keep on you. Keep those with you in your carry-on, whether it's a small carry-on, luggage, suitcase, duffel bag, backpack, whatever that looks like for you, no problem. But we recommend getting that, keeping those medications with you for a couple of reasons. If there's any controlled substances, and we want to make sure that you keep those in their regular medicine bottle or the prescribed medicine bottle. And for two, should by some reason you not get your luggage late, we want to make sure that you do have access to your medications, should it be something that you rely on at a scheduled time. And also, you may want to toss a swimsuit or an extra change of clothes, in case you want to jump into the pool, and then again, maybe your luggage doesn't arrive till a little bit later that day. You at least have something where if you want to go take a dip, you've got your swimsuit with you. And again, I'm going to always recommend that y'all check your luggage and just keep those items, an extra pair of swimsuit, an extra pair of clothing to change into, in your backpack or your duffel bag. And then, as Carnival does allow a couple of things for us to bring on with us. Now, I know that they were going to switch to Coca-Cola products. So if you like Coca-Cola products, great. They will have those on the ship. If you like Pepsi products, Dr. Pepper products, you may want to bring some of those sodas for you to enjoy, right? So I know I've done that in the past where I don't buy the bubbles package, I don't buy the soda package because I just bring my own. You can bring one 12 pack per person in your party, and the way that you want to bring those is you want to put a little bungee cord on, you want to bungee cord those onto.
Oh, my apologies. I'm so sorry. My battery died there for a moment. But basically, what you want to do with a 12 pack, remember, it's only one 12 pack per person in your party. So if there's four of you to a cabin, then y'all can each bring a 12 pack. This must be cans and no bottles of water. No plastic bottles, basically. Everything needs to be in a carton or an aluminum can. So what you want to do is tape up the areas where the perforation is, and that way you just kind of, minimize the probability of the packs, busting open. I've seen it all. I've seen some where they drop a 12 pack, cans of soda goes everywhere, and then people's stuff explodes. And then I've seen the really nice people that you can tell have cruised a million times. They are so easy breezy going through the terminal because they have a tiny little wagon, their little foldable wagon where they have their little drinks all in there, or they have this little hand cart. Don't go bringing your furniture dolly where that's not going to work. But if you have a tiny little hand cart, a tiny little foldable down dolly, I would recommend something like that. Or even I posted those bags that Aldi had that were like the Hulkin bags. And it seems to, do the same job. So if you don't want to spend over $100 on a bag, then, get you the little one at Aldi's, or I don't know, maybe even Amazon will have it. So, yeah, and another thing that you may want to do is also, if you want to wrap it in a trash bag, just to kind of be able to carry it in a trash bag, and then, use some bungee cords to tie it to your carry-ons. That may help as well. Last thing you want to do is be fumbling with 12 packs and your boarding pass and documents and kids, if you've got the kids coming with you, or, just to make things easier. It's all part of the vacation process, so whatever you can do to make it easier, let's do it, okay? Okay. Another thing, I'm a snacker, okay? I love to snack. Sometimes some lines may take a little bit longer to get through, okay? There have been times when they've had to refuel, or different things that the Coast Guard has had to ask. And so I'm working the terminal, and I've had to sit there and see some of our people wait over an hour because the Coast Guard hasn't cleared the ship. So nobody gets on the ship until Coast Guard says, okay, clear to get on. So if you want to have a couple of snacks inside your carry-on, should that happen, I recommend it. It's totally allowed. Just anything that's prepackaged, totally no problems. So another thing that you want to do is accessibility. Now, I remind you again to get onto the ship. As soon as you go into the embarkation area to have all your documents checked in, that's only one area. You still have to walk through security and then go upstairs to the boarding area. So there is a lot of walking. And even once you get to the actual port, when you're going to get off the ship and then walk down the pier, it's a long ways to walk. It's totally doable and easy if it's somebody that doesn't have any mobility issues. But if you on the normal don't necessarily use a wheelchair, don't necessarily use a little walker with a seat, don't usually use a cane, if you have just some mobility issues, I would recommend you either bring a cane, bring one of those little walkers with a seat, or even bring a wheelchair. We did that for my mom. She is not wheelchair bound, but I did know because of some of her hip issues and some of her things, I already knew that she was going to have to walk a lot. So I'm like, we're taking you in a chair just because it's so much more convenient, and we knew she would be miserable by the end after so much walking. So there is no shame, there is no worries. Bring you a wheelchair, it's totally okay. You will also have your own designated line at check-in to go in for if you have some accessibility needs. If you just need somebody to help you up at the time of the wheelchair there at check-in, we have wheelchairs there that you can borrow and somebody will just guide you up. But if you're going to need one throughout the time of your vacation, throughout the week, and even once you get off the pier, I recommend that you obtain one. Now, if you need one for just temporary basis, don't go rent one. Send me a message and we'll see what we can do to get a hold of one, because we definitely want you to have a good time on your vacation. And yes, you can still get out to the sand, you can still get out to the water, you can still do all the fun things, but not, completely be overwhelmed with all the walking, because we definitely want you to have a great experience. If you do need a wheelchair and stuff like that, assistance, let me know. We'll help you out with that. And then also there'll be one person within your party that can also go with you. That way you don't feel that you're all left alone to go through the process by yourself. The luggage, going back to the luggage real quick, there are going to be some plastic tags that I'll send y'all a shopping list of certain things of recommendations. And within this shopping list, you'll see some tags. We've bought the tags because we've used them over and over. It's a good little investment. But these luggage tags, you just fold your luggage tags and then you slip it into the plastic. And then you don't have to worry about it in case it gets wet, nothing falls over, or nothing's torn, I'm sorry. If you just want to use like packing tape and just some clear packing tape to seal it, that's fine too. And one other thing I want to show y'all, let me see if I'm able to bring it up on my phone. What I want you to also do is there are times when, whether it's that you had a couple too many beverages, and we don't talk about that on this cruise, okay? Or maybe you just don't happen to remember where you left your phone. It's all acceptable reasons. But if you happen to lose your phone, I'm going to send y'all a photo of what y'all can keep on your phone. And what you'll want to put on your phone is like your cabin number, your stateroom right. And that way, in case if you lose your phone, they'll just turn it into guest services and then they'll have somebody run it up to your cabin. It's not that big a deal. And I know normally a lot of people talk about safety and not letting you know where your cabin is and whatnot. In this case, it'll be fine. Trust me, we've been on the deck, we've been at dance parties, and then somebody drops their phone from their shorts or something, and then, like, I know I kicked somebody's phone further down. So it happens. So this way I was able to pick it up, and then I'm just standing there like a goofy one, just like, hey, somebody's phone. So this way, if you have your phone on there, it's so much easier and quicker to get it back to you. So, what else on Embarkation Day? Pack your patience and your kind, gentle spirit, okay? Because sometimes there's going to be delays and you just have to wait in line, and everybody else there has paid for their vacation just like you have. So, I want our group's going to be showing how we vacation, okay? We're not going to be the ones throwing fits because we didn't pack our snacks and because we didn't put our chill pills in our bag. We're going to already have known to do those things. So we're not going to have those freak out moments, okay? I promise you. It's not like anything different when you're going into a theme park or anything like that, but we're just going to be well prepared for if there should be any delays. We are fine. We will not be hangry. So once we get onto the ship, you are then free to go to a bar and get your beverage, whatever kind of beverage you want to have, get started that day. Or if you want to go ahead and go all the way up to the Lido and you are hungry, so you want to go help yourself to some food already, all of that's going to be available as well. If you want to go ahead and go explore the ship and start walking around, go for it. If you want to jump in the pool with your beverage and just hang out already, that is absolutely acceptable as well. This is your vacation. It's time to have fun. Now, that's pretty much all I've got. I know this is already a lot of information. And again, don't worry if we haven't gone over something and maybe I said something that made you think of something else. Of course, send me a message. Let's talk about it. And maybe it's just something that I happen to overlook. But at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. Otherwise, I'm going to make this video even longer. All right, guys, I'm really excited to be cruising with you guys, and especially my first timers. I love to experience it from the eyes of a first timer because you're gonna be hooked. Okay, I know you're all gonna have a wonderful time and you're gonna be hooked.